Hi, it's Jen. Today's Building Your Stash Sunday, so I'm going to share with you how I did that, how I organized in my craft space, an empty that I have, and a couple little crafty things I've been working on. So how about we get started? How I built my stash this week, what I purchased are a couple books to be used in my journaling. Now I have these two books and I absolutely love them, so when I saw them again I grabbed and picked them up. So this one I had shared with you a while ago in a video that I have this one and I ripped the pages out, tea-dye them, and these are really fun to use. So I really wanted to get this again because I have used this in the past and I know I like it, so I wanted to make sure I had an endless supply of this paper. And then this one as well, as soon as I saw it I knew I wanted it because of the pictures inside. And I will share with you, like, look at all those pictures. They make really good to fussy cut all around them. They're amazing. So I really wanted to get this again to have in my stash. There's many different, there's birds in here, it's amazing. So I wanted to get this again, so I got those two books. And the other thing I purchased is for my craft space to organize with. So I got 4 of these milk glass containers. They were 50 cents each, so I didn't think that was too bad, and I wanted to get some vessels like this to organize within my cupboards in my craft space. So I thought those were really neat, and so yeah, I got 4 of those. And that is all I purchased for building my stash. And then something that I made to organize my stash. Last week I shared with you seed beads that I had purchased from the dollar store. So what I did is I keep them in this used to be, I got this from the thrift store with things in it, but it's, you know, one of those old film containers, and so it fit perfect in where I'm storing it. So what I did is I took my bronze tailor pins or ball pins and I made a whole bunch of different beads on them, put beads on them just so that they're at the ready for when I want them. I'm really loving the simplicity of just putting beads on this tailor pin and then putting them on a tag. I'm really enjoying that look. So what I did is I did 50 of them, so they're all set to go in the various colors that I shared with you last week. So that's how I built my stash this week. And how I store them is in this little drawer. And I have another one in here. I have black, I'll share with you, they're black ball pins, but I haven't been using those too much anymore, so I didn't bother making any. So these are the ones that I just have already made up, but I do use my bronze tailor pins a lot, so I wanted to make sure that I had those at the ready. Now this is how I organized in my space. I had chalk painted a vintage spice rack, maybe a couple of years ago now, and I haven't really put it to good use. So what I did this week is, I'm going to stand up to make sure I can get it in. So I chalk painted it white, and what I did is I took some of my glitter bottles, the vintage ones, and I organized all the seed beads in it. So this is a glass container, and so I just put all my seed beads in there, and it's perfect. So I put all the glass on the bottom, and then on the top they're vintage containers as well, but they're plastic, but I put the plastic ones at the top. And so this turned out perfect. I have my seed beads all in one spot, and I know exactly where to go to get them. And I love using this spice rack. Now, what's in this other drawer? I put extra pearls. It's in a plastic bag, but I put the extra pearl ones in there so they're at the ready whenever I need them. And so I'm really loving this. I know exactly where to go to get those tailor pins, and everything just turned out perfect. And so that's how I organized all those seed beads, is I put them in the containers. And what I did with the glitter that was in these, I put them in the small bags that I shared with you here. I put them all in bags like this, little bags. And you know what? It makes it so much easier to store. And I don't use those as much as I use my seed beads. So it actually turned out really nice. Because I wanted to use things that I already had in my house. And so that's how I accomplished that. And so that's what I did to organize in my craft space. So I'm really pleased how it turned out. And I know exactly where to go to get those. And I've been loving it, actually. So that is how I organized in my craft space. I organized those seed beads, and I had purchased those books and that container. So an empty that I've had in my craft space, this is going to be no surprise, but I have another empty of a glue stick. I go through this so fast, but yeah, so I used that all up, and I'm on another one. So there's that. And then I'm going to share with you, before I share with you the little project that I was gonna that I've been working on. I had a giveaway not that long ago, and Sherry S., you won it, and I haven't heard from you. You haven't DM'd me yet, and it's okay that if you don't want the prize. If you could just let me know if you're wanting it, because if you do, I can send it to you right away, and if you don't, I can give it on to the next person. So Sherry S., if you could contact me, and how you do that is you go into my homepage of my YouTube, and you go about, you hit where it says about, and then if you go down, it will tell you how to get in contact with me, and I have my Gmail there for you. So if you could just tell me if you want that prize, and if you do, I can send it to you right away, and if not, I will not be offended at all. I can just pass it on to the next person. So thank you so much, and I want to welcome any new subscribers that we have. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. And this is what I have been working on. These, I have created them last year, and I've been making more to go into some journals. And I was just going to share with you, I'm not going to go through every single process of how I decorated them, but I'm going to share with you how I did it. And if you want a more thorough video on it, you can just let me know, and I can do that. But I don't want to bore you. So we'll start with, let's start with this one. So this started out as a junk mail envelope. And then what I did is I just decorated the front. I have a pocket on the right. I just have it plain with a tab. I have a pocket on the left, and I have this honeybee little booklet where you can journal. And then I have a tag up here, And if you can see in there, when I take the tag out, there are, I put some dictionary page behind there. And here's my tag. Here, I'll fix the bee. He's not behaving. So there's my tag. And there's lots of places to journal. And there you go. That's the front. And then on the back is I have the Tim Holtz, I think it's 5 slot pocket. And then in the pocket, this is obviously, it's going to be going into a bee journal, so I have a ticket, a bee ticket. I thought that looked kind of cute there. I have a stamp because I thought it'd be neat for to put like stamps in there for people to use. This is an old this is an advertisement. I thought that was cute for a little tag to be used in a journal. And then I have a date cut out. That would be kind of, I thought all these things would be fun to be used in a journal. And then I have a homemade washi here out of that brown paper that I had shared with you guys a while ago. So I have that there, and so that's all what's in the pockets. So that's one of the ones I do. And how you put this in a journal, you either put it in a pocket, or what I'm going to be doing is just attaching it to a page with a paper clip. So there's that. And then another one I've been doing is this one. So you have a slip pocket here. And then on the back side, what I wanted is a flip up and a place to journal. And then I'll talk about this tag in a little bit. But what this one is supposed to do, let me just get my paper. I will share with you what it's supposed to look like. Okay. So it's going to be going into a book as a belly band. So what you do is you attach it to your paper, and I would glue it down on the back side so it's attached. And then my idea was this pocket would be for ephemera, and then I would put a bigger tag behind here for the belly band to kind of dress it up. So there's that side, and then when you turn to the other side, it's the same thing. So you can attach it. Now you don't have to use them both as belly bands. You can use this as a flip, but I'm going to be using it as a belly band because I thought it'd be neat to write all around it. And then you can slip a tag in there as well. And I'll just take this just to show you. And then this is going to be a belly band as well. And then this is a flip up for writing. You have a flat tag inside here. And so this is what this one is. But as I was playing with this one, this was last year, I came up with another way. Now, I didn't finish this in time to share it in a video, but I will share it how else I'm using it as. So this is a Christmas project I was working on. I didn't get it done in time, but this was what I was working on, and this is, I wanted to combine this one and this one together. And so what I did is, you can see here I have the pocket like I have right here, and then inside here you have a slip pocket. and you have all these yummy goodies in the slots. And then if you open it up, you have a little pocket here. And I didn't finish decorating it, but then there's a pocket right here. And then a pocket behind it as well. So you have a pocket right there, and a pocket like behind it, and then inside, down here, and then right there. And so that's another way to use them, which I'm going to probably be using this more often than not. And so what I thought I would share with you today is just how, now decoration, totally up to you. I was just going to share with you how I prepped my junk envelope. So all I did was I cut off, when I ripped it, I just cut this off. So I don't even measure it. My envelopes are always a different size, and you know what? It doesn't really matter. I just go up to the point where the longest rip is. And there you go. Don't throw this away. This is good stuff. What do I have it here? This stuff I use to, what's it called? I layer with. Here's my container of goodies, of little bits and pieces. Oh, it's right here. This is from an envelope as well. I stamp on this, rip it out, and then I use it in different projects. So don't throw this one out. These pieces are great to stamp on and to layer with. So I don't get rid of that. And then, so that is cut and ready to go. Oh, before I put that away, I cut both ends off the envelope as well. So I'm going to do that, and I don't take that much off. Just a little bit, just to open up the envelope inside. And there we go. Same amount on the other side, and there you go. That is how I prep my envelopes. So that way I can get inside and I can line it. Now, I'm sharing with you this one. Now, how I did this is I scored it at the 5 1/8 because I want enough room on the right hand side so that way my window has some room like on the other side here. I just want to give it room, not that it needs to be perfect, but I just want it to give it enough room so it doesn't affect the window at all. So I do score it at the 5 1/8. I believe. I'm going to quickly do that right now. Got my scoreboard. Okay, there we go. Done. And then that is how I basically prep these envelopes. And so that's ready. And so what I do next is on this side, I do like to cut out a notch for my tag, and I do that with using, and I do that right away, so that way when I do the inking I can get that done all at the same time. So that is ready. Then what I do is I open it up, I measure from the middle where we've scored it over, and I cut out, I used vintage wallpaper. So what you're seeing right here is vintage wallpaper. And so what I do is I don't make it one big piece. because I don't want it bunching in the middle here. So I do cut 2 pieces. Now, something to look for is because we cut, it has a dip right here in your envelope. Now, what I do, I'm going to open mine. When I measure my wallpaper, I measure the front piece and I make it as tall as the front piece is. So do you see how my wallpaper is sticking up? It's because when I measure, when you're measuring your height, you want to measure the height of the front so it matches. So that way you can have like a full piece here. I do that for the left and the right. And then you just glue them down. And then what I do, depending on how you're decorating, everybody decorates differently. I don't always do a flap like right here, but if you're doing a flap, what I do is I sew this side closed at the same time as I sew the flap on. Now, sometimes I make them with doing or decorating different right here. So this step I would just sew right here so that way your pocket is closed. So after you glued in your backing pieces, you make sure you ink all around, then you're going to sew here and then your pocket is closed and then you can put a tag inside. Okay, so that is done, and then all you have to do is decorate the outside how you like. And then this can be a belly band, this can be, you can attach it like I did my other one where the back is, now when I use this as a pocket, I did sew up here. Right, this one I didn't because I have this as a slip pocket for ephemera, but for this one, I did sew all up the right hand side. So it just depends how you're going to use them, but for this one, you just sew up at the top here and then you're done. And then it's just about decorating. How I decorated, I took 2 stamps on this side. I took a grid stamp, a word stamp, and I just stamped it all over. And then what I did is I took gesso and just wiped gesso in different places. I used a sewing pattern arrow and I glued it down here. Put a material ruffle there. And I sewed this separately and then glued it on to the envelope. And then this, I just ripped some dictionary page, and this right here, that blue, it came from an inside of an envelope. So if you get envelopes in the mail and they're not any good, but there's maybe different patterns, keep those and you can rip them and use them for collage. And then I just did a stamp, bird stamp, and then I did put a tab up here, and I glued it, made sure it was attached to the wallpaper as well, just to give it a little bit of strength there. And that's all I did to decorate this. This side, glued this on, I stamped a little leaf here, and that's it. And I have a couple flags, one with lace, one in a yellow stripe fabric, and you're done. And so that is that. So this one wasn't that hard, and it is so, these are really fun. And then what I was going to share with you, now I can make one with you, but I know a lot of people have been making these, so just let me know if there's anything that you would want to see more of. And then, another thing I've been working on are tags, and I've been really wanting to do simple tags because we have a lot of collage in different places in our journals. And so what I did, one day I had a leftover piece of this dictionary page. Know how I take a dictionary page, glue it together by folding it in half? I had some cut out for my last video, the letters, and I looked at it and I'm like, So what I did is I just cut the bottom, cut the two corners to be like a take, and I didn't want them the same. So that's why you can see them, because I kind of like the angles there. And I mean, you can even cut down the sides if you want. But I really liked the way this looked. And then, because where I was putting it, I wanted it to be really flat, so that way when it's inside the pocket here, this can be journaled on. And then there's nothing hindering as you're writing. And so that's why I really wanted a simplistic tag. No sewing, nothing. Like, I didn't want layers. I just wanted simple. And so this is what I came up with. And then the back looks like this. It's just, I glued on a piece of lined paper that was tea dyed. And then I have two pieces here that looks like washi tape or just old tape. So I did this one. I did this one. The tape in different spots. I did this bird one. And what I did is I had made one to start. You know how you just want to try something? And so this was my first one. And I did it out of brown ink, but you couldn't really see it. And so I thought, oh, I'll add some flowers and color. Did a collage here, but it wasn't my favorite. But I liked the angles. So what I did is I'm keeping this one. So what I do is I cut a piece of that dictionary paper that's doubled, and I put this right here, and you could just willy-nilly just rip it any old way, but when I started doing that, it just didn't look good, and I liked how this one looked. So what I did is I just put this on there, and then I just use my pencil, and I don't try to get all the grooves. I just do approximately, because when I rip it, I want it just to rip naturally. That way I have some sort of guide, and then I just rip away. And so these were a lot of fun. But one tip that I wanted to share with you for the backs, see how I have this, everybody's doing that tape and they're using their, I think it's alcohol ink. I don't have the supplies to do that. And I was sitting here, I'm like, oh, it's too bad I can't get some tape that looks old, right? But what I do have a lot of supply of are sewing patterns. And I was sitting there and I had this piece of sewing pattern, and I'm like, I could glue that on and it could look like tape. And so that's what I did. I just took some, I'm going to make one right here with you for this one, because I really like how that looks, but I don't have all the supplies that you need for it. And so, but I do have this, and so I want to make do with what I have. So I'm going to bring my paper in again, bring my inks in. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to ink it up a bit, just to make it darker. Now, I may need to cut these thinner. This one's kind of thick. Yeah, this is thick. So I'm going to cut this, rip it, not cut, but rip a little bit more. I don't want it to be overpowering. You don't want it, so that way you have no paper left to write with. Okay, that should be good. Now I'm going to, and then what I do is I just test it where I want to put it. I'm going to put it on the bottom. That might be a little bit too much still, isn't it? I don't want to rip it too much, but I do have a lot of it, so here we go. Okay, that looks good. Okay, And there we go. And I'm just going to cut a piece out, get my glue stick. I just put it on my paper here. And I don't Mod Podge it on. I just put tons of glue on it. Make sure everything's ready to go. And then I'm going to put this here. And there you go. I'm going to do one more for the top. And then we have our fake tape. So if you see other junk journalers make that tape, and it does look really nice, I will say that. It looks really good. You don't have the supplies, you can just make do with sewing pattern pieces. And because you know what, I like using a lot of the wording and the arrows for different projects, and so using up the blank spaces is perfect for doing things like this. And if you happen to write on this, you can write on it because it's just paper. So, and I'm going to put one up here. I don't want that covering my... And there you go. And so that is how I got across not having supplies to make that aged tape. I thought it would look good just doing some sewing pattern, the blank stuff, because if you have a lot of sewing patterns and there's plenty of space to journal yet, and I thought these looked really cute, just plain, like simple tags to go into our journals, because sometimes we have a lot going on, we have a lot of collages, and having some plain simple tags is floating around in our journals is great at times. So if you're wanting a really simple tag idea, these are amazing. They work up quick, and I think they look really cute. I love these. They look good with the black ribbons and stuff, but I like it with this blue. I thought that looked really, really pretty. So that is what I was going to share with you today. Things that I've been working on. I've been making a lot of these tags. They've been so fun. I've been stamping different things on them. And also, I have been making some more of these different envelopes for my journals. I appreciate you watching, and don't forget, let's not throw away our junk. Let's journal with it. Take care, guys.